Hello, everybody. My name is Christian Quick, and this is Little Breadcrumbs. Today's breadcrumbs will be about syllables. Have you ever noticed that some words are harder to pronounce than others? The core of the issue is how we define what is okay for a syllable to be a syllable. By definition, a syllable is a unit of pronunciation having one vowel sound with or without surrounding consonants forming the whole or part of a word. For example, there are 2 syllables in water and 3 in inferno. So in short, it's just the number of sounded vowels, meaning that the silent vowels don't count, but it also doesn't care about consonants or the number of times that you're going to start or stop making a sound. To help show you what I mean, let's take a look at some words. How many syllables are in these words? Masks, tests, asks, spends, angsts. There's 26 letters and only 5 syllables, and then we put in a second list: bright, throne, praise, dream, and grief. There's 28 letters and also 5 syllables. The second list has more letters and it also is the same amount of syllables, but which one do you think that you could say faster if you were to say them 10 times fast? Even with more letters and the same amount of syllables, this new list is still much faster. But why? A syllable is supposed to be a sound beat, but since syllables only care about vowels, it completely ignores the other half of the equation. Consonant sounds depend on vowels, so it's rightfully the most important part of the syllable is the vowel. But how syllables mesh together is the complete picture of how everything works together. Let me mention that a consonant digraph is when 2 consonant letters make one sound. The first words have 22 consonants, but technically 21 because the NG is a consonant digraph. The words in the second list have 19 consonants, but technically 16 sounds because the GH is silent and the TH is also a consonant digraph. So one could argue that the number of consonants is the reason pronunciation is so difficult. And then you'd be right. But there's one more piece of the puzzle. So let's update the list with the following rules. We'll make examples of 5 words. We'll make sure that each word will have the same number of syllables, the same number of letters, and the same number of pronounced consonants. Updating the first list, we get spend, masks, spics, skins, and tests. There are 5 syllables, 25 letters, and 20 consonant sounds. Updating the second list, we get crown, flirt, swirl, clerk, and dwell. 5 syllables, 25 letters, and 20 sounded consonants. So which of these do you think you would be able to say faster if you were going to say them both 10 times fast? I'm sure that you'll find that the second list is still both faster and easier to say. But maybe I played another trick up my sleeve. If we write the consonants as just C and the vowels as just V, we'll notice that in the second list that all the vowels are in the middle, and in the first list that some of them have the letters shifted one letter to the right. And one could argue that this is the reason why it's more difficult. However, in this case, you'd be wrong. Although words like masks and tests are harder to say than spend, spics, and skins, it's also the fact that crown, flirt, swirl, clerk, and dwelt are easier to say than spend, spics, and skins. To prove this, let's choose one in each category and say only that word 10 times fast. Depending on your fluency, here are some possible results that you could get. Where if you were to say 10 times fast each, the masks or tests should be around 4 to 5 seconds. In category B, we have spends, spics, and skins to be around 3 to 4 seconds, or crown, flirt, swirl, clerk, or dwelt. These kinds of words saying 10 times fast could be about 2 to 3 seconds. The reason that category A is so hard compared to B is a little complex because if I write it down in lines, category A being its consonant, vowel, consonant, 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 3 times, and then I put them in lines, we'll notice that it's a vowel. For every vowel, there's 4 consonant in betweens, and in category B, it's the same. When we get to the first vowel, there's 4 consonants in between the two of them. So in this case, how can we say that one of them is faster than the other when after saying that first consonant in the end, it's the same pattern? Well, the answer here is actually natural blending. You're cheating, but not on purpose. If we relook at how we say category B, we usually have spend, 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 and that ds turns into a z, so it's more like spend, 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 spends. And for the spics and skins, when you have them spic, spic, spics, skins, 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 the double S just turns into a 1S. And so what's really happening is by saving yourself a consonant, you're able to beat masks and tests because the SM and the TS don't really blend. So re-looking at the new variations, we can see that for each time we say it, we're saving ourselves a consonant. So it's very close, but also very not. But if B is shorter, how can C beat it? Simply put, category C just blends better. They use category C uses letters like L, R, W, and Y, which are special blending letters and are sometimes referenced as semivowels or salvels for short. Think of the difference between spy and ply. For spy, you have to say the S, close your mouth for the P to come out. This causes a small pause state in your mouth. Spy, spy. You have to pause, stop yourself, spy, in order to go for it. However, for ply, you'll notice that the L in your mouth is not interrupting the syllable, allowing for it to go much faster. Ply. No stop. Ply. Ply. Ply, 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 ply. Spy, 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 spy. Ply, 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 ply. Much faster. Because of this, Sowels should be in their own category, and we'll give them an S. This means that the largest and easiest words to pronounce is that CSVSC combination. The reason is because consonants love vowels, and without them, you're putting your mouth in a strange pause state, which slows you down, and on top of that, two consonants together that don't blend just increases the difficulty. These double consonants are called obstruent clusters, but since my take on syllables is ripping it apart and fixing it, means that I need to make new terms that I can't be mistaken for other things in case there's some contradictions between the two terms. I'll be using the term entails moving forward. I'll define it as any consonant at either end of a CSVSC syllable and doesn't have any vowel or sound to attach to. So like starts is a CCVSCC. The start and last S in starts has no vowel or semivowel to attach to, therefore becoming an entail, which for every entail that exists means that the pronunciation is just a little more difficult. Moving forward in reverse, Old English would have just used two syllables, which are much easier to pronounce. If we say syllables like tis and tith or kiss and kith, the th is a consonant digraph, so all of these examples are counted as CVC. So if today we would say test me or ask me, back then they would have said testeth me or asketh me. This is easier because, like I said earlier, consonants love vowels and will glue themselves to one if it gets the chance. This happens in English with multiple words all the time. If a word with an entail is next to a word with a vowel, the consonant will just move over to glue itself to the vowel and become part of that word instead. For example, we need bricks and wood. He was praised in masses. I have a test on economics. This helps languages become faster and easier to pronounce. Therefore, the fastest language minimalize pause states and have a balanced blend of consonants and vowels, which explains why there is no surprise that Japanese is the fastest language in the world. And if we look at this, well, what do you know? All their letters are a perfect CV 50-50 blend. I think that this summarizes all that you need to know about what syllables really are, what they do, and how we end up actually using them. This is just the first chapter of what it really takes to make a world language possible. And I'll have some more videos coming out pretty soon, but for now, thank you guys so much for watching, and without further ado,